Hey there folks, Ash here, back with another Power Rangers related video, and this time we'll be talking about Dino Fury, and reading an interview Simon Bennett did with Den of Geek. Now last time we covered an interview of Den of Geek, you guys seemed to like it, and this one looks like it's going to be a very interesting interview as well, because last time we knew nothing about Dino Fury, we knew nothing about the casting. I think it didn't even have a name at the time, which was very interesting. So let's talk about Power Rangers Dino Fury, where Simon Bennett will be talking about the gender-flipping Rangers, addressing if Dino Fury is now part of the new reboot universe, and unique casting procedures. I read them out of order, but whatever. But also, before we jump into the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because 73% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So I would love it if you guys could hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We're doing a lot of fun things on this channel, and I don't want you guys to miss out. So please, please, turn on notifications and hit that subscribe button. I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Alright, so let's read this interview. I don't want to read the big introduction, but let's read this right now, because that's probably the big introduction. You guys know who Simon Bennett is, so let's read this. Den of Geek, you've been directing the show for 4 years and you're now an executive producer. How have you taken the lessons you've learned as a director on the show and applied them to your new role as the executive producer? I think having directed 4 seasons I'm messing it up big time and we've only just begun. I think having directed 4 seasons means that I understand how the jigsaw puzzle that is Power Rangers works. When I first came on board as a director, it was mind-boggling different. All the component pieces and how it fits together, Japanese footage, second unit, main unit, stunts, action, who does what. One scene might be broken into 3 or 4 parts with different people managing different aspects of the scene, working on how they all fit together and communicating with different various people who are responsible for various pieces is a challenge as a director. What I'm doing now as a showrunner is the same challenge, a writ large, as my purview also encompasses writing stories at the other end of the shoot, post-production, visual effects, music, and all those elements. I've done it before on other shows, and I'm really enjoying the creative overview. With Power Rangers, it's so complex and big, the machine that is never dull, but I'm constantly occupied from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep. I've got questions coming in at me about this episode, or a bit about that episode. I'm rushing into visual effects to approve a shot, or into writing to solve a question, or taking it to the directors. I'm on the set helping out, and maybe with a performance scene that second unit finds himself directing. Okay. So I've done a bit of directing of Dino Fury as well, which keeps my hand in. It's incredibly busy. And a lot of fun because of the harder Power Rangers. There's a kind of joy because of the material is light, it's silly, it's fun, and it's exciting. It brings out the inner kid in everyone working on it, which is one of the things that makes it a pleasure to work on. Oh, that's nice. So, Den of Geek is the one in bold. So, they're the ones asking the questions. Okay, let's have a sip of water before we continue. Good water. Are there any new focuses behind the scenes to keep all things, as you said in our last interview, consistent behind the scenes? Simon, I can't go into details, but I can say a lot of thought has gone into the new season, and it is certainly a development, and I think it will excite and intrigue and hopefully delight fans when they see it. Okay, so he can't say much about what's going to happen in the brand new season. Now this is an interesting one. Many of the cast members of Dino Fury have a significant social media followings. Was that the intentional part of the casting process or just a happy coincidence? I think it's a happy coincidence. We cast people who have the skills necessary for the roles. We didn't cast people because of their social media following. I think it's a happy coincidence. Yeah, I think it is a happy coincidence, because a lot of people were saying to me, how come you haven't heard of this guy? How come you haven't heard of this actor? Like, a lot of people were questioning me, how come I haven't heard of Chance Perez? And I was like, I'm nearly 30. I don't follow the young crowd, they say. I'm not hip with the kids. That's what I say. We're well into the shoot now and about to take a break for Christmas in a couple of weeks' time. Okay, so they'll be going on a Christmas break very soon. And I think it's very safe to say I have 8 completed episodes, and I'm very, very excited to see with how it's going. I think the cast is fantastic. So they've got 8 completed episodes. Usually, 8 is the number of episodes we get at the start of the year, then a break. So that confirms they have 8 completed episodes. Now, whether they filmed 8 episodes or filmed and edited 8 episodes... No, wait. I've seen 8 Okay. I'm gonna contradict myself right there. He's seen 8 completed episodes, so I'm pretty sure these episodes have been edited and stuff like that. Okay, I had to stop myself right there. Den of Geek. The decision was made to gender swap one of the Rangers from the Sentai, which hasn't been done since the early 2000s. Were you part of that decision, or do you know why it finally happened? That was part of the decision. It was really about diversity. It was really about wanting the cast of the show to represent more than a little bit of a representation of the people than the Sentai delivered us. They have 5 men and 1 woman in Risolga, which we've adapted. We really wanted there to be at least 1 more female character, and we've been very careful with all the guest characters to ensure that there is gender balance within the cast. That is an interesting question, interesting answer, because when we found out that they would be gender flipping one of the Rangers, a lot of people were saying it was probably just to mimic the old Mighty Morphin days or to balance it out, but yeah, Simon just sort of confirmed saying, yeah, it's all about balance. Like Thanos said, all about balance, perfectly balanced. Here's a gif of Thanos balancing that thing on his finger. But put that in post-editing, me. Okay. What was the casting process like amid with all the COVID restrictions? Were you casting people with webcams and such? What were the challenges there? Ooh, this is a good one. It was tricky. It took longer than it would have taken normally. And in an ideal world, I would have gone to the States for the final round of auditions, and he would start with maybe 4,000 people and then narrow it down to maybe 30. Then the final 30, we get into the intensive auditions with the executive producers. That would have ideally been in person, but we couldn't do that because of COVID. I know that Chip Lynn went back to the States and met a 4-meter distance in a tent with open signs in a park, and the final candidates had a meet and greet to see what kind of people they were. But it wasn't like any type of audition. But that wasn't any type of audition because we actually weren't able to do the traditional auditions. The final auditions for the American cast were done by Zoom, basically. I thought so that'd be the case. They would play the scene often, and when they were at home, it would often be their mum or roommate who was reading off lines. So the caliber of the audition was variable, trying to get them to set up their phone in a way that can be representative of them with the favorable light was a challenge. That would have been interesting. They would have to be doing the offlines and the stuff like that you've heard about in casting stories with their mom or their roommate or their family members. That would have been an interesting change, because usually you do the offlines with people who are possibly going to be on the show, so you see what chemistry they're going to have. With this, they're doing it with their parents or their family members or roommates, so that would have been very different and very interesting to see them bounce off someone who may or may not be an actor or actress. And so they would play the same scene, and then I would give them notes on how flexible they were as actors, and they'd do it again. And then we went through maybe 3 stages, all of this, and And then we went through the final 3 stages of the process with 30-odd actors. We would try them out on a new scene as well. We finally narrowed it down to the people we wanted also running auditions in Australia and New Zealand. And Australia, because it looked like... in the early stages of COVID, but there were going to be some... some trans-Tasman bubble, and that would free some travel between Australia and New Zealand. Is that some sort of trans-Tasman bubble? What kind? Is that some sort of Kiwi saying? Trans-Tasman bubble? That must be some weird Kiwi saying I don't know anything about. But I know what he's saying because Australia didn't cop it that bad during the early stages of COVID. Like, we were pretty much fine before the crazy Melbourne lockdown. So that makes sense. But that turned out not to be the case, so we haven't cast anyone in Australia. Oh, now I'm sad. No Australian cast mates? Now I'm really sad. No, I'm only kidding. Oh well, it is what it is. But we ran auditions in New Zealand, and because we were very lucky that COVID is under control, basically our borders are closed, and the only cases that exist are the ones coming into the country, and returning New Zealand's go into quarantine. There's no community transmission, so it's strange that we're able to operate pretty much the same as usual, pretty much same business as usual here. I was able to do in-person auditions in New Zealand, and we were very successful. We had our secondary characters and our guest characters that way. Okay. Hasbro CEO Brian Goldner stated in a recent interview that Jonathan Entwistle, okay, it's a Jonathan question saying, has he been in contact with you guys? No, I know much as you do because I read it online as well. It's completely news to me. I've had no contact with Mr. Entwistle. So, that means Jonathan has had no contact with Simon. It probably shows that Jonathan Entwistle is not working on Dino Fury right now. That's probably not his ballpark at the moment. And who knows when Entwistle is going to come into the TV show for Dino Fury. Will it be this season? Will it be next season? I don't know. But it looks like Jonathan Entwistle has made no contact with Simon Bennett thus far as we're recording this video. So right now you're just making your PR season. There's no you've got to think about this movie, you've got to think about this animated show. There's none of that right now. Okay, so this is a really interesting question. No, none of that. We pretty much finished writing the entire season of Dino Fury, and we're well underway with shooting. And we have interfaced with various executives within Hasbro and E1, and it's going very smoothly. There's been no external pressure on the show to make it something other than what it has always going to be, if that makes any sense. It's going very smoothly. So, that means whatever Hasbro and E1 is planning outside of the TV show, that means it has not affected Simon and Dino Fury as a whole. They're very, very separate entities right now. So, yeah, that's what I'm getting from this. So, things are going very smoothly with Dino Fury. They finished writing the season, and anything that's going externally, like outside of New Zealand or whatever Hasbro is planning in their big offices, has not affected the TV show right now. So, yeah. What's it like working with the cast? Do I want to read that one? I know I'm reading all of this, but okay, I'll read it. What's it like working with the cast? And a lot of them come from America, where they've been much dealing with COVID, and now they're able to live life normally in New Zealand. Well, they don't have a lot of time to live normally when they're here because they're usually picked up about 5 in the morning, driven to makeup on set, and they have very long days because the actors playing Power Rangers, when they're not on main unit, they're on second unit. Okay, so they're working from 5:30 in the morning to 6:30 at night. Really long days. Whew. Those are long days of filming. Damn, that's like 12 hours of filming at least. Over 12 hours of filming. And then they've got to look at learning their lives and material for the next day and their weekends. I think they're out exploring Aquaman and enjoying the summer. I mean, I would say that about the cast. They've got a huge amount of excitement. Okay, so the cast are having fun in New Zealand, and they're working very hard on the show. We'll get to that. I know I jumped over that question, but it's good to know that the cast is having fun right now. You mentioned in our last interview that at the start of production you had to delay a little bit because of COVID, and there's been attempt to catch up where you would be. Or is it just like, okay, we're shooting this as it normally would? Okay, that's one of the questions I had. Whether they're speeding up productions or they're just filming normally. So, what does Simon say? Production can't go any faster than it has because production can't go any faster than it does because it's a show. It's a fast show anyway. So it's 2 months in a delay starting the show that would have a ripple effect right through production. Post has been squeezed a little bit. We're trying to actually complete the episode a little earlier than it would be the 2-month delay. Had to trickle down through the post-production period, but beyond, I can't say because it's commercially sensitive. Okay, you can't say much. You can't say much because it's all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Can you comment if Dino Fury have more than 20 episodes? Okay. Oh, they're trying to squeeze the important juice that you guys would be asking me. Can you comment whether Dino Fury is going to be more than 20 Wait, I cannot speak today, mostly because I just woke up and it's 8:30. Can you comment on whether this is going to be more than 20 episodes of Dino Fury? No, I can't, again, because that hasn't been announced, and it's commercially sensitive information. So we can't tell you if Dino Fury is going to be more than 20 episodes or not. Ooh, people are probably going to be mad that he can't give up that information in my comment section. Is there anything you want to tell Power Ranger fans who will be reading this? Expect lots of surprises within Dino Fury and keep up the faith. And then it says Dino Fury will debut next year and Beast Morphers will wrap up this Saturday, aka today when I'm recording this video. So yeah, that's a very, very interesting video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I stumbled over a lot of my words, but it's nice to see the creative scenes, the creative stuff behind the scenes, and Simon Bennett to tell us stuff about Dino Fury. So yeah, once again, this is a really interesting interview with Simon Bennett, and I'm hoping Den of Geek does more interviews like this, because these are fun behind-the-scenes stuff that I can sit down and read to you guys. And if you guys want to read this interview and have a look at it for yourself, I'll have a link to it in the description down below and in the pinned tweet, in the pinned comment of the video. So be sure to check it out, that is for sure. So with that said, I'm going to wrap things up here. I'm going to wrap things up now. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you guys later. Peace out, take care, all that good stuff. Bye!